Today marks the 11th day of the government shutdown, and a recent poll conducted by news agencies reveals the majority of Americans wants to fire every single member of Congress.
And Starbucks is working with locals to petition against Washington.
The Chemical Weapons Watch Group on the ground in Syria is the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize.
And a weatherman mistakes grape nuts for a less appetizing snack. CitrusTV News starts right now. Good evening and welcome to CitrusTV News live at 6. I'm Russell Oliver.
And I'm John Tummino. This year marks 25 years since the terrorist bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, that killed 270 passengers, including 35 SU students. This week, events have taken place across campus to commemorate the victims and others affected by the tragedy. It's our top story tonight.
2013 marks the 25th anniversary of the bombing on Pan Am Flight 103. Many current SU students weren't alive in 1988 to experience the event, but we still remember it every year. CitrusTV reporter Amanda Hari found out more about why this is such an important event.
In 1988, 35 Syracuse University students boarded a plane to come home from studying abroad, but became victims of a terrorist attack.
Back then, this was something that happened other places. It didn't happen here. It didn't happen to people that we walked the same paths with. It was just so unbelievably shocking and sad. And I remember walking right here on the quad the day after. And of course, it was December, so it was cold and it was winter. And I remember the sky just being so gray and dark. It was the perfect weather for how we all felt. It was like this huge black cloud had descended over this campus.
The plane crashed down in Lockerbie, Scotland, creating a link between Lockerbie and Syracuse that would later develop into a scholarship program for Lockerbie students.
And I say we still have students here to this day. They'll be involved later in the day, and more of them are wanting to graduate from Syracuse. So the links between our two communities are stronger now than they've ever been after 25 years.
Every year, 35 seniors are selected to become Remembrance Scholars. Each senior represents one of the SU students who died in the bombing. They plan events that include a rose-laying ceremony, a candlelight vigil, and chairs on the quad that represent the seats the students were sitting in.
The chairs were a project by last year's Remembrance Scholars. People wrote good deeds on the chairs. And although you can't write on them this year, you can submit a recommendation for something to be written on them.
The chairs are a way of making the situation more relatable.
But we can all identify with sitting in a plane and being a seat number. We all travel, we can all identify with that.
Even though we are remembering the past, that isn't the only focus of the Remembrance Scholars.
The most important part of Remembrance Week is moving forward. I think reflecting is such an important part of Remembrance Week, but our saying is look back, act forward.
The 35 SU students of Pan Am 103 may be gone, but they will never be forgotten. Amanda Hari, CitrusTV.
Now, this afternoon's rose-laying ceremony marked the end of Remembrance Week. The ceremony took place exactly at 2:03 p.m., the time that Flight Pan Am 103 went down over Lockerbie, Scotland. Reporter Sophia Borelli attended the rose-laying event.
While the sorrow continues to weigh heavy in our hearts, we come together today not to mourn, but to reflect.
As the bells chimed at 2:03, it started the rose ceremony, which closes Remembrance Week at Syracuse University. Many students gathered to remember the men and women in Pan Am Flight 103.
I think it really is a moment for everyone on campus to stop and reflect. I mean, you look around and you see how many people on campus race together.
Each scholar laid a rose on the wall for the victims who died in that tragic flight.
Pamela Elaine Herbert was a dual economics and sociology major at Bowdoin College and a Syracuse University abroad student. She was a young woman of incredible academic achievement, spiritual devotion, and human compassion. I lay this rose in honor of Pamela and act forward in her memory.
The ceremony takes place in front of the Hall of Languages and brings the week full circle back to the place where it all started.
I think the rose laying ceremony is a great way to cap off the end of Remembrance Week. We start outside for the candlelight vigil at the beginning of the week on Monday, and to end where we started just feels very symbolic and very just like the perfect way to end.
Sophia Borelli, Citrus TV News.
The Pan Am 103 bombing dominated the media spotlight for weeks after it happened, but the event still comes up in the media from time to time. A panel last night looked at media coverage of the bombing over the past 25 years. Reporter Ashley Sue says it was an engaging event for all in attendance.
Adults, students, and reporters alike gathered in Watson Theater last Thursday night. 25 years later, reflecting on Pan Am 103 in the media was one of many events on campus this week honoring students who died on the flight in 1988. Remembrance scholar Molly Linners put together this event.
We have a lot of student journalists here, so I think that they're interested in these topics and want to learn more and learn from the lessons of people who reported on events like this.
This lecture featured several journalists from the Post-Standard and a reporter from Lockerbie, Scotland, the town where the plane had crashed.
Joan Duffy wrote a great book on ethics in the media, so she was definitely one of our first picks, and Melissa offered a different perspective because she came from living in Lockerbie for a while and reporting there. And then the three journalists all cover local events.
Panelists recounted their reactions to the crash and how they went about reporting the event while remaining sensitive to the emotions of those affected. Senior broadcast major Colin Brown adds,
I feel like I got some great journalism lessons, but also just some great lessons about how to communicate with other people when they go through a tragedy.
Although 25 years have passed since the crash, it is clear that the university will continue to keep Remembrance Week spirit alive. Reporting for Citrus TV News, I'm Ashley Sue.
After the event, the audience mingled while cookies and drinks were served. Lynn Horst considers her event a success after hearing positive feedback from the people. And to wrap up our coverage of Remembrance Week, we will hear from a professor with an interesting perspective on the tragedy.
That and more when we return. Stay with us.
After last weekend's rain, will we have another weekend washout? Not looking like it at the moment. Stay tuned for your full weather forecast.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
That's low. That's low.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
Welcome to my block party. Glad you can make it.
The only triple doubles you get come with fries.
Last time you blocked someone, you were online.
I can do this all day. Your moves are just gay.
Using gay to mean dumb or stupid, not cool. Not cool. Not in my house, not anywhere. It's not creative, it's offensive to gay people. And you're better than that.
20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead.
Syracuse University has quite a few preeminent scholars on the Lockerbie bombing. One of them is Dr. Lawrence Mason, who reporter Katherine Robinson recently had the chance to interview.
Professor Dr. Lawrence Mason has been involved in Remembrance Week from the very beginning. He taught 8 of the victims of Pan Am Flight 103. Following the disaster, his goal was to use his photography to make things better. And that's something he continues to do today, 25 years later.
What I've tried to do in photography and with projects that I've done is to make it a little more experiential for people so they can feel what it's all about, see what it's all about, and thereby become just a little bit more in tune with being a Syracuse University student.
While teaching in London, Dr. Mason took some of his students to visit Lockerbie. There, he photographed the area where the nose cone of Pan Am Flight 103 fell and some of his students were found.
And wow, when something like that happens to you, it draws you in hook, line, and sinker. You know, I always say the making of that picture was the whole factor that pulled me into doing a book on Lockerbie, to continuing to go there. I've been going there for 17 years now.
Dr. Mason has been helping to plan the 25th Remembrance Week for almost a year. He says what's important now is looking to the future of Lockerbie.
We ought to remember all the things that make us unique. And Pan Am 103, like it or not, because we didn't ask for it, makes us unique.
The first of Dr. Mason's three-part photography exhibit is currently on display here in Newhouse 1. The second and third part will be on display later this semester. Catherine Robinson, CitrusTV News.
The village of Skaneateles is the second town in central New York to repeal a law limiting political signs. The board voted unanimously to repeal several sentences in the town's zoning code. Some of the sentences limit the size of political signs and the length of time they can remain up. The Manlius Town Board passed a similar resolution last month after a civil lawsuit raised issues over political sign regulations. The New York Court of Appeals has agreed to let a man sue a drug testing company for what he claims was a false positive test. Kroll Laboratory specialists tested Eric Landon in 2007 for marijuana. Landon says the false positive test cost him a promised job and a prospective marriage. Landon obtained a blood test from a private lab the same day and later submitted to a county urine test, both of which were negative. The court ruled 4-3 to let Landon pursue his negligence claim against the lab.
Fans of great fashion rejoice. A Giorgio Armani outlet store just opened up in Destiny, USA. Armani Outlet offers men's and women's fashions, shoes, watches, jewelry, and other offerings. The store is located in the first level of the mall's expansion section between Brooks Brothers and the future Salvatore Ferragamo stores. For those that fly out of Syracuse's Hancock Airport, there's a new way of beating those long security lines. Hancock Airport passengers have started to use a new TSA pre-check system. The new system is a pre-registration process which gives frequent flyers a line shortcut to the main terminal. Airport officials are encouraging flyers to apply and register for the program, which costs a one-time fee of only $85.
It is now day 11 in the federal government shutdown, and things are finally looking more positive. House Republicans proposed a plan yesterday that could ward off the threat of a debt default, and President Obama is listening. Both sides appear to be working together to get the government back up and running. A recent poll by NBC News and the Wall Street Journal shows a shocking glimpse into the minds of Americans. 60% say that every single member of Congress should be fired, including their own representatives. This discontent has been increasing since 2011 and has spiked due to the recent government turmoil. Starbucks is serving up more than just coffee this weekend. Newspapers across the country are featuring an advertisement today encouraging the government to end the shutdown and pay off our country's debts. Customers are asked to sign the ad and bring it into their local Starbucks, where the signatures will be sent to Washington. Those who are unable to make it to the coffee shop can still sign the petition at cometogetherpetition.com.
In some non-shutdown news, former astronaut Malcolm Scott Carpenter passed away Thursday at the age of 83. No cause of death was released, but sources say he recently suffered a stroke. Carpenter was one of NASA's original class of 7 astronauts, which includes John Glenn and Alan Shepard. A new report says serial rapist Ariel Castro may have died by accident and not suicide. The body of Castro was found hanging in his cell just 1 month into his prison sentence. The report states that Castro could have died from autoerotic asphyxiation, a condition that occurs when men suffocate themselves during orgasm to experience greater pleasure. Coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6, find out what's in store for our weekend weather.
And another boat has capsized off the coast of Italy, the second one in 1 week. All the details when we return.
Oh, something's funky.
Passing gas releases a plume of toxic vapors.
Oh, honey, not in the car.
Like ammonia and hydrogen cyanide.
Oh.
And lethal poisons that can linger even when windows are open. Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas, take it outside.
Our story begins with a journey for knowledge. For research indicates that when a parent taketh a more active role in their child's quest for education, that child will be bestowed with higher grades and higher sense of being. Just a wee bit of time out of your meeting schedule is all it takes to show your allegiance.
Hear what your kids are saying. Get more involved. Join your local PTA.
You've read it. You've seen it. Now jerk online. Revamped. Relaunched. Exclusive stories, multimedia, and a new blog. Now jerk whenever you want.
And today was another beautiful day in Syracuse, but can we expect the same for this weekend? Citrus TV's Leanne DeRosa has the full weather forecast. Leanne?
Yes, John, we can expect more beautiful weather for the weekend, which is nice after last weekend's rain and complete washout. You can see today we had temperatures in the upper 60s, mostly cloudy, a few clouds here and there, but otherwise beautiful. Moving on to tonight, skies will stay clear, although temperatures will drop significantly. It will be chilly. Take a coat when you go out. We will have 0% chance of precipitation, which is nice, so you don't have to worry about getting washed out again like last weekend. Moving on to tomorrow, it'll be an even nicer day than it was today. Temperatures in the low 70s, sun all day, light winds here and there coming from the east. Overall gorgeous, so make sure you get outside. Moving on to our Doppler, you can see there were some clouds and a little bit of rain, but that is south of us, so that will pass us. We won't see any of that rain moving into the week, which is nice. And if you move on to our current temperatures, you can see that everyone is experiencing a bit of a heat wave. Warmer temperatures over here that will move into us over the course of the weekend, which you can see as we move on to our 5-day forecast. We have temperatures looking pretty nice for the whole week. Not too many clouds, not a lot of sun, but no rain, thankfully, which is nice. It's going to be warm this weekend, so get out because you never know when it's going to dip down. And Monday looks a little bit chilly, but it will go back up, so don't worry too much.
Sounds great. Do you know when we're going to start seeing some more typical fall weather? Not that I want this to go away.
I know, don't wish it upon us. Well, Monday, like I said, it will drop down to be low 60s, so it will feel chillier, but the sun will warm things up. But usually as we get further into October, closer to Halloween, that's when it really starts to get chilly. I know New Jersey always gets hit with snow around Halloween, so hopefully that won't happen again.
No, I can't. I just keep thinking about the snow, and I don't even want to. It's only in the middle of October.
I know.
I'm just not ready for that.
I've heard it's going to be a rough winter, so we're not sure.
It'll be the first rough winter probably since you were a freshman, certainly, right?
When we had 5 feet of snow over 5 days.
That was quite the
We
winter.
have that to look forward to, I guess. Thanks a lot, Leanne. The Nobel Peace Prize goes to the Chemical Weapons Watchdog Agency that has put inspectors on the ground in Syria. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons works to eliminate chemical weapons all over the world. The Nobel Committee says the recent events in Syria have enhanced the need to increase funding for agencies like OPCW, who work to do away with such weapons. OPCW landed inspectors on Syrian soil 10 days ago. The Italian Coast Guard finished recovering bodies yesterday after a boat capsized off the coast of the Sicilian island Lampedusa last week. However, just this afternoon, another ship carrying migrants has capsized. The Italian Coast Guard and Maltese government immediately sent out a search and rescue crew after they heard of the disaster. According to the Italian Coast Guard, more than 200 people have been rescued so far, and 4 bodies have been recovered, but rescue efforts are still underway.
Maybe on the 7th day, God should have said, "Let there be spell check." This week, the Vatican released and quickly recalled a papal coin commemorating Pope Francis. The coin misspelled Jesus as Lesus, replacing the J with an L. Despite the quick coin recall, a few still exist in the public and could have high value for coin collectors.
Coming up in sports, Orange football looks for a bounce-back performance after its loss to Clemson. The MLB playoffs are in full force, and captains have been announced for men's lacrosse. That's all when we come back on Citrus TV News.
The magical thing about using energy wisely is that anyone can do it. Get together and make a difference. Learn what you can do at energy.gov/.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Like this top. So gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Danse, balance la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Rosita, did you know there's a right way to sneeze? Let's show them, Elmo. Yeah, got it. When you feel like your nose needs to give an achoo, this is how you act, this is what you do. Lift your arm up high, bend it toward your face. Sneeze right there in the bendy place. Achoo, achoo. You can do it with ease. Achoo, achoo. That's the right way to sneeze. Thank you.
To learn more about preventing flu, visit flu.gov.
It begins innocently enough. You don't return a phone call. You break a date at the last minute. But in fact, it's the beginning of a pattern. And soon, your friend with mental illness realizes you're avoiding them. But what if you knew that your friendship was the key to their recovery? Would you still lock them out of your life?
After a 49-14 drubbing from Clemson at the Carrier Dome, maybe a change of scenery will help out the Orange. Syracuse travels to face NC State tomorrow afternoon for a 3:30 kickoff. Quarterback Terrell Hunt looks to improve after throwing 3 interceptions last week. On the other side, NC State is coming off a loss as well. The Wolfpack fell 28-13 to Wake Forest last Saturday. This is the first road game in ACC play for the Orange, and the Cuse doesn't return home until November against Wake Forest. The secondary is without Keon Lynn, who is out for the season with a lower body injury. To the soccer fields, the SU women's soccer team took on Florida State last night, who's ranked number 3 in the country. The game was scoreless through regulation play, but the Orange could not pull off the upset. The Seminoles scored in the first extra session in the 95th minute last night at SU Soccer Stadium. Brittany Engel made 6 saves in net for the Cuse. Florida State, with the win, remains one of the 4 unbeaten teams in the country. Syracuse's last 3 losses have all come by the same score, 3-0. The Orange plays at home again this Sunday against Miami. That one's a noon start. Now let's send it over to Andrew, who has an update on the MLB postseason race.
Thanks, Tim. And the Red Sox and Dodgers have already secured their spot in the championship series, but 2 of the division series went down to the wire. It was winner-go-home time for the Cardinals and the Pirates in the National League, while the Tigers and Athletics also took 5 to decide their series in the American League. Let's start with the Buccos and the Birds. Garrett Cole pitched for the Pirates. Here's David Freese, takes him deep in the second inning, 2-0. That's a 2-run home run. Now Neil Walker up against Adam Wainwright, still 2-0. And Peter Cosma snags one for the Web Gem on the edge of the infield. Wainwright's got to love that. Matt Adams at the plate off Mark Melancon way into the people, 5-1 all but over. Complete game for Adam Wainwright as he strikes out Pedro Alvarez to put the Cardinals into the championship series, and it's time to celebrate in St. Louis. In the American League, the A's took on the Tigers, and Miguel Cabrera, the Triple Crown winner from last year, went deep in the 4th inning. 2-0 Tigers. Now, Verlander was dealing. He had a no-hitter through 6, struck out Stephen Fote there for his 10th K. Top 2, 2 out, 2 on, tying run at the plate. Seth Smith flies out to Torrey Hunter to end it, And it's time to pop champagne in Detroit. They make it into their third consecutive ALCS. The championship series are set. The Dodgers will travel to St. Louis to start their series tonight, and tomorrow Motor City will host the Red Sox. Now 7-game sets, all the teams are just 4 wins from the World Series and 8 wins from being named world champions. Now I know Tim will be tuning in for the Red Sox game, among others on campus. Back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. It's the middle of the offseason for the SU lacrosse team, but the team captains have been announced for the 2014 season. Redshirt junior Hakeem Leckie will be joined by seniors Matt Harris, Derek Maltz, and Billy Ward as captains this coming spring. And tomorrow at the Carrier Dome, the current squad takes on the Alumni All-Stars in the fourth annual Orange Alumni Lacrosse Classic. And SU field hockey has an important matchup that just got underway down in Durham, North Carolina against Duke. The Orange field hockey team is 10-1 and ranked number 3 in the country, and the Blue Devils are 10-2 and ranked 7th in the nation. SU is coming off a big win over 4th-ranked Virginia here at home in a low-scoring 4-1 game. They'll be back home Sunday to face New Hampshire at J.S. Coyne Stadium. Now to the NFL, where Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson spoke to reporters today after news surfaced that Peterson's 2-year-old son is critically injured, and police have just announced that Peterson's son has died from the alleged assault incident. That police though say they've made an arrest in connection with the incident. 27-year-old Joseph Patterson was arrested on 2 felony counts of aggravated battery and an infant and aggravated domestic assault. Police say he is the boyfriend of the child's mother. Peterson says he expects to play in the Vikings game on Sunday, but head coach Leslie Frazier says they plan to talk it over in the next 24 hours.
Thanks, Tim. Up next, we're only allowed to have water on the set, but this weatherman needs something a little more flavorful at the desk.
Stay with us.
For more simple ways to fight the flu, visit www.flu.gov.
We can all be more energy efficient. Use energy-saving light bulbs and energy-smart power strips. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Learn what you can do at energy.gov/tink.
Nasaidia pia kwa ajili ya watoto.
Habitat's building homes all over the world.
Come join us and help build it.
Habitat for Humanity. Donate, volunteer, get involved. Visit habitat.org.
As one weatherman from Connecticut couldn't wait until commercial break to grab a snack.
But it was probably a bad idea to pick up the first thing he saw, even if it did look like a grape nut.
Those were not grape nuts that I ate. Ugh! I kept finding more and more of it on the floor, and I thought it was grape nuts because it looked just like it. My cat threw up, and I stepped in it, and that's what I ate.
Well, that's not fun. Maybe next time we'll pay attention to the 5-second rule.
I hope so.
That's all we have for this evening. Thanks so much for tuning in to Citrus TV News Live at 6. I'm John Tummino.
And I'm Russell Oliver. Have a great weekend, Syracuse.